Gumball has hundreds upon hundreds of characters running around Elmore, but today we're ranking the main ones to see who's actually the most loved and who should have stayed in the void. Starting with Molly, who's gotta be the most forgettable character in all of Gumball. Molly is so boring that in the episode The Boring, time literally stops when she talks.
Dude, we haven't got time to be caught talking to Molly.
I don't want to be rude. Let's just give her a minute and see if she tires herself out.
So, Gumball and Darwin use this to train as kung fu masters to beat Tina. They spend years training in frozen time, emerging as martial arts experts, but their attacks barely scratch Tina's thick skin. They get trapped in frozen time, getting crushed, and the only escape is actually listening to Molly. Molly's whole thing is being so boring that nobody could stand to talk to her, and honestly, I could barely remember any good moments of her, which is why she's easily at the bottom of the list in F tier. And speaking of characters who should have stayed there, Mr. Rex is Tina's dad, and honestly just a bigger, scarier dinosaur. In the fight, Nicole drives to the junkyard after Tina bullies Gumball, and she tries reasoning with him, but he's not having it. So Nicole, being Nicole, ends up destroying the entire house. But where should we place Mr. Rex? Well, to be honest, he's got no personality beyond being big and scary, so he's staying at the bottom with Molly. But where should we place Terry? Now, Terry is the one kid who carries hand sanitizer everywhere and won't touch anything without panicking, and we see this in the episode The Virus. The episode starts with Terry forcing Gumball to wash his hands because Penny gave him a high five.
Get off! Why don't you go clean your own hands, you clean freak?
Watch it now, you disgusting biohazard!
Which shows how paranoid she really is. Later in the library, she shows them a picture of an infected finger that freaks Darwin out, but Gumball licks a keyboard just to prove germs don't matter. Bad move, because a virus takes over the house electronics and chases them around with cars until they're cornered. The virus starts giving this long speech about destroying them, so while it's yapping, Gumball just steps on it. Terry's entire personality is just freaking out about germs, and while I can admire her wanting to stay clean, she takes things way too far. And the same goes for Leslie, who's got the most high-maintenance flower you'll ever meet. This guy treats his petals like they're worth $1 million. In The Petals, his petals start falling off and his face gets all wrinkled, so he locks himself in the dressing room crying because he can't handle not being pretty anymore. Gumball and Darwin try everything to help him, from styling him up to giving him sunlight which sets him on fire, and even spraying him with bug spray that makes him hallucinate. Gumball reads that cutting off his head will make it grow back, so they chase Leslie around pretending to be a gardening show, until he agrees and pulls his own head off. His headless body then chases them with shears. After hearing that it takes 6 months to grow back, Leslie freaks out over his looks way too much, and he definitely needs to touch some grass, or soil, or whatever flowers do. So we're putting him in C tier for now. But while Leslie is worried about looking pretty, Idaho is worried about surviving one crazy night at the Watersons. In the episode The Bumpkin, Gumball learns about Idaho's simple lifestyle and decides to convert his whole family to live like him, which means no electricity, no cars, and no supermarkets. The family sits in the backyard with Idaho trying his way of living, but it goes terribly since Idaho can't handle anything modern. One crazy night at the Watersons' house with video games and junk food is enough to make him pass out from toxic shock.
What did you do to him? Nothing! We just ate junk food and played video games!
That's it! His pure country body couldn't handle your filthy suburban lifestyle.
So they have to rush him back to his farm where he gets buried in dirt to recover. Idaho can't even survive one night of normal life, and that's saying something when the Watersons are your definition of normal. Next up is Mr. Small, the school counselor who's more focused on meditation and herbal tea than anything else. In the advice, he's depressed because he feels like he hasn't inspired the students lately. So Gumball and Darwin cheer him up, and he starts giving them advice.
Right. Do you have any, beginner's advice? Sort of simpler, more kind of obvious ones that make sense?
But his advice is so ridiculous that it leads to complete chaos around the school. Mr. Small keeps checking in on them, thinking his advice is working great, but he's completely oblivious to all the destruction happening around him. For a counselor, Mr. Small is terrible at his job, but at least he's funny to watch. C tier. Unlike Tobias, who's got to be the most annoying try-hard in all of Elmore High. In the episode The One, Gumball gets irritated because Tobias keeps trying to make fun of him the same way Darwin does, but it just doesn't hit the same since they're not actually close friends.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you jealous? You wanna kiss too, Mama?
Get off of me, or I'll kiss you back.
I won.
Gumball tries to figure out why Tobias bugs him so much, and realizes that Tobias just isn't a good enough friend to be joking around like that. Tobias then gets the wrong idea, and thinks if he gets rid of all of Gumball's other friends, he'll become the best friend. So he goes around thinking he's taking everyone out, when really he's just making a fool of himself. Tobias tries way too hard to fit in, and it shows, and he really needs to find his own personality. Tobias is cringe and annoying, but sometimes he can be chill or not that annoying. F tier. Next up is William, and he's just a flying eyeball with no mouth. He's easily one of the most forgotten forgotten characters in Gumball, and he gets ignored so bad that he sometimes has to destroy Elmore just to get some attention. But we're still gonna rate him super low on this list. Just don't tell him that, or he might come for me next. F tier. But where should we rank Anton? At first, he looks like nothing more than your average slice of bread, but this guy's got a trick that makes him way harder to get rid of. In the episode The Recipe, Anton dies in the school pool and turns into soggy breadcrumbs, but the next day on the bus, he just shows up like nothing happened. So Gumball and Darwin spy on his house and find out his parents use a toaster to bring him back to life. Of course, they try it themselves.
1 left, 1 right, and then 4.5.
And end up creating an entire army of Anton clones. The problem is all the clones are complete idiots and die super easily from water. So yeah, Anton can never die, which is cool, but he's still just a slice of bread with zero personality. C tier. Now we're moving up to the mid tier with Alan, and this squeaky balloon is so nice that it's actually kind of annoying. In the episode The Saint, Alan takes the blame for Gumball destroying a computer and gets detention, which makes Gumball suspicious.
You know what? I bet he isn't really that nice. Everyone has a breaking point, and I'm gonna prove it to you!
So Gumball makes it his mission to break him by ruining his Elmore Plus account, faking photos of him cheating on Carmen, and even showing a tape of his parents getting turned into balloon animals. But no matter what happens, Alan just stays positive and turns every bad situation into something good. At the end, Alan finally snaps for 1 second and yells at Gumball for dragging his feet, but then goes right back to being happy. Alan's whole thing is being way too nice, and it's pretty funny watching Gumball lose his mind trying to break him. B tier. Next up is Yuki Yoshida, and she's got beef with one of the most powerful characters in all of Gumball, Nicole Watterson. In the episode The Fury, Yuki shows up and challenges Nicole to a fight, but Nicole keeps refusing, so Yuki threatens her job and house to force it. Turns out they were childhood best friends, until a tournament made them fight each other. Nicole won, and Yuki left to Japan in shame, training for years just to come back. When they finally battle at the gym, it's a full-on anime, with energy blasts and Kamehameha attacks.
You fought well, Nicole-san, but I've been training my whole life for this moment. Let me show you what I've learned.
The fight is easily one of the coolest in the show, which is why she easily goes into A tier. Next up is Larry, and this guy works literally every job in Elmore, which already makes him more useful than half the characters we've ranked so far. In the episode The Laziest, we find out Larry used to be called Lazy Larry, until Richard motivated him to change his ways and start working hard.
I was the laziest guy in Elmore until I lost my title to Richard Watterson.
But Gumball and Darwin accidentally ruin everything for him in just one day. He loses his job, his car, his girlfriend, and even his house, all because of a misunderstanding. Larry ends up right back on the couch, getting fat and lazy again. The funny thing about Larry is that he works every single job in town, from the grocery store to the video rental place, and he still gets treated like garbage by everyone, especially the Wattersons. He's super relatable because we've all felt overworked and underappreciated at some point, and watching him struggle through life while nobody respects him is both hilarious and kind of sad at the same time, which is why we're putting Larry in S tier. But what about the craziest banana in Elmore, Banana Joe? If you've ever had that one friend who's way too loud and tries too hard to be funny, that's Banana Joe. And we see this in the episode The Banana, where Gumball notices bite marks on Darwin's pen and blames Joe for it.
What the derp is that?
I don't know. What are you doing?
The pen! You chewed his pen!
No, I didn't.
So they get into this petty revenge war that gets out of hand. Joe accidentally pulls his own eye off with glue, and Darwin destroys all of Joe's stuff, including a family heirloom fountain pen. When Joe finds out about the pen, he completely loses it and chases them down the hallway. Banana Joe is honestly pretty funny, because he's got so much energy that he genuinely tries to make people laugh, even if it doesn't always work. He's annoying in the best way possible, which is why we're putting Banana Joe in B tier. Next up is Masami, and she's even more annoying than Tobias, because at least Tobias tries to be likable, but Masami just acts like everyone owes her something. And we see this in the episode The Gift, where her birthday becomes this huge event, and everyone's terrified of disappointing her. Gumball and Darwin end up kidnapping her and locking her in the basement to teach her about being normal.
No, we locked you in our basement so you missed your birthday party and realized how much you actually wanted it.
Right, although that is an interesting idea. It is a felony to lock people up against their will.
But she accidentally sends texts that make it look like they're threatening her. So her dad calls the police, and a whole SWAT team shows up to tackle them to the ground. Masami's whole personality is being rich selfish and spoiled, and she uses her family's power to boss everyone around, which is why we're putting Masami in F tier. But while Masami controls people with money, Tina just uses her size and strength to bully everyone like Gumball and Anais. We see this in the episode The Quest, where Tina steals Anais' toy donkey Daisy and won't give it back. Gumball and Darwin have to sneak into the junkyard at night just to get it back, and Tina wakes up and chases them around trying to crush them. At the end, she admits she's never had a toy before and gets scared at night, so Anais lets her keep Daisy, which is actually pretty sweet. Tina has her moments where you feel bad for her, but she's still a bully who loves making life harder for everyone else, which is why we're putting Tina in C tier. Next up is Bobbert, and this robot is honestly one of the funniest characters because he takes everything way too literally. This is best shown in the episode The Loophole, where Gumball tries to reprogram Bobbert to be less dangerous, but every single command backfires.
You didn't actually mean it. Like, what would you do if someone asked you to give them a hand?
Gumball tells him to save Darwin, so Bobbert inflates him like a balloon. He tells Bobbert to uphold the law, so he starts enforcing the most ridiculous laws ever. Then Gumball says to protect all life, which sounds good, until Bobbert decides the only way to do this is to destroy all of mankind. Bobbert's whole thing is being unable to understand anything that isn't completely literal, and it leads to some of the most chaotic and hilarious moments in the entire show, which is why we're putting Bobbert in A tier. Now, Rob is a character who went from being a complete nobody to Gumball's actual arch nemesis. Rob is the only known character to escape the void, which I wonder if that makes Molly jealous. But the real problem starts when Gumball and Darwin accidentally give him a purpose by making him their villain. Bad idea. We see this play out in the episodes The Disaster and The Rerun, where Rob gets his hands on a universal remote that can control reality. He uses it to ruin Gumball's life by turning his parents into babies, erasing Anais from existence, and making Darwin turn back into a fish. Things get so bad that Gumball has to jump into the void to save Rob, even though Rob was trying to destroy him. Rob is literally only the villain because he wants to be included. He may be mad because Gumball and Darwin kicked him in a manhole, but they were in a rush. Imagine you're in a rush and some random dude comes up to you hoping you know their name, when you never knew they existed. What they did is reasonable, and I don't know if that makes Rob hate him or the fact that they left him in the void. Rob's story is surprisingly dark and emotional for a kid's show, which is why we're putting Rob in B tier. Next up is Penny, and honestly, she's one of the sweetest characters in the entire show. The best episode showing who she really is has to be The Shell, where Gumball accidentally cracks her peanut shell during a school play, and she's forced to reveal her true form underneath. Turns out the shell was hiding who she really was, and without it, she starts shape-shifting into different creatures based on how she feels.
Penny, come back!
I'm disgusting. I'm a disgusting pig.
She's terrified that nobody will accept her, but Gumball tells her she's beautiful no matter what form she takes, which is genuinely one of the most emotional moments in the show. Penny is kind, supportive, and always brings out the best in Gumball. Plus, The Shell is easily one of the best episodes in the entire series, which is why we're putting Penny in B tier. Gumball does stupid things, but he loves Penny, and supported her fully when she came out of her shell. Gumball may have his flaws, but ultimately, he's a good guy, who tries to give 100% for those he loves. Gumball and Penny are supposed to be a direct parallel to Nicole and Richard, but while Penny may have the emotional moments covered, Richard has something way more important going on. Being the laziest dad in Elmore, Richard was born to sit on the couch, and that's exactly what keeps the universe from falling apart. We see this best in the episode The Job, where Richard gets a job as a pizza delivery guy, and reality literally starts breaking down around him. Photos change, the sky glitches, and everything falls apart just because he decided to be useful for once. The family has to track him down and get him fired before the whole universe collapses. But here's the thing about Richard. He's lazy and messes up constantly, but he keeps trying to be a good dad the best way he knows how. Whether it's teaching Gumball how to fight with the bunny hop or trying to help the kids with their problems, Richard always shows up when the family needs him, even if his methods are completely insane. He might be the dumbest character on the show, but his heart is in the right place, and he genuinely wants to raise his kids to be good people, which is why we're putting Richard in A tier. But while Richard might be the laziest dad in Elmore, Anais is the complete opposite, being the smartest person in the entire family at just 4 years old. We see this best in the episode The Remote, where the whole family is fighting over the TV remote because everyone wants to watch their own show. Anais acts like she doesn't care anymore and goes to her room, but the whole time she's been playing them. She gave Nicole the idea to buy a new remote by saying it out loud, told her mom to get the wrong brand, faked destroying a calculator to make them think it was the real remote, and hid the actual remote inside her Daisy doll the whole time.
Dagnabbit! It's for our garage door! What did you buy this for?
What? It's the one Anais told me to get.
Why would Anais tell you to buy the wrong... remote? She planned this whole thing from the start. First, she gave Mom the idea to buy a new remote.
And the remote she smashed upstairs must have been a decoy.
Which which means the real one must still be in the house.
While everyone's screaming and fighting outside, Anais just sits there watching her show with the biggest smile on her face. What I love most about Anais is how clever she has to be just to survive. She's got Gumball and Darwin as brothers, for crying out loud, and Nicole and Richard as parents who are either too busy or too lazy, so she has to be the smart one holding everything together, which is why we're putting Anais in S tier. And leading the charge this tier is none other than Darwin, who started out as a pet goldfish and literally evolved himself just to stay with Gumball. We see this incredible journey in the episodes The Origins, Part 1 and 2, where we find out Richard kept buying new goldfish every time one died, until they finally got Darwin. This little goldfish understood Gumball in a way the others didn't.
Did you feel that? Yeah, me too. In my heart. Wait a minute. Can you understand everything I'm saying?
And when he accidentally got flushed down the toilet, his love for Gumball was so strong that he grew lungs and legs just to make it back home. The episode shows Darwin crawling through the entire city, adapting his body and pushing through the pain, all while singing about how nothing will stop him from getting back to his family. What makes Darwin so special is his loyalty and kindness. He's Gumball's best friend and his moral compass, always trying to do the right thing, even when Gumball wants to take shortcuts. I think my favorite character is also Darwin. Like you said, he just has a really big heart. He's always out there trying his best to do the right thing, even if things go awry. He's very empathetic and looks for the best in people, no matter how seemingly flawed they are. Darwin balances out Chaos's Gumball with his heart, and honestly, the show wouldn't be the same without him, which is why we're putting Darwin in S tier. But while Darwin brings the kindness, Gumball brings the chaos, and as the main character and star of the show, he's got to be in S tier. But here's the thing, he actually deserves it. Gumball is chaotic, selfish, and causes most of the problems in every episode, but that's exactly what makes him so entertaining to watch. Whether he's trying to impress Penny, getting into fights with Tina, or coming up with the dumbest plans that somehow work, Gumball always keeps things interesting. What I love about Gumball is that despite all his flaws and all the chaos he creates, he genuinely loves his family. He'll do anything for Darwin, protects Anais when it matters, and even though he complains about his parents, he respects them. Gumball has some of the funniest moments in the entire show. He's unpredictable, hilarious, and even when he's being mean, you can't help but root for him. And that's why we're putting Gumball in S tier. But even with all of Gumball's chaos, he's nothing compared to this next character, who balances being a mom, working a job, and having the power to destroy the entire supermarket when she loses it. That character, of course, being Nicole. We see this perfectly in the episode The Limit, where the family goes grocery shopping and the kids keep begging for chocolate. Nicole keeps saying no, but Gumball, Darwin, and Anais throw tantrums in the middle of the store.
Mommy, I want some chocolate. I'm sorry, little sausage, but you've had too much candy this week. Now all the little sausages are punished and going to have to wait in the car.
The family comes up with every scheme to sneak candy, and Nicole keeps catching them. Eventually, Richard just eats the candy without paying, and when the alarm goes off, Nicole completely snaps. She transforms into this terrifying monster with yellow eyes and sharp teeth, chasing everyone around the supermarket. Not even a taser stops her. But what really shows how good of a mom Nicole is comes in the episode The Authority, when Granny JoJo moves in and convinces Nicole she's a terrible mother. Granny JoJo teaches the family to be safe by scaring them all so badly they all turn into Richard, losing all their common sense.
What have you done to them? They've all turned into Richard.
Well, at least they're safe.
When they drive onto the highway, not knowing how to stop, Nicole has to risk everything to save them, encouraging them to remember what they learned. Nicole has to be a mom to Gumball, Darwin, and Anais, and sometimes even Richard, dealing with all their chaos while keeping them alive. So if I put her any lower, she might ground me for life, which is why we're putting Nicole in God tier. But if you enjoyed this video, click this video next, because I'm sure you'll love it. But if you don't, Molly's gonna show up and bore you forever. And trust me, you don't want that.